PMS. In this lecture, we start what is entity relationship model, various data models, entity relationship model, entity, types of entity, attributes, different types of attributes, relations, and types of relationship. Now we start what is a model. A model, it is abstraction of a real world object or event useful in understanding complexity of the real world problems or environment. Basically, what is a data model? A data model, basically it is a diagram that displays set of tables and the relationship between them. The data models revolves around discovering and analyzing organizational and user data requirement. Now we discuss what is ERD. ERD stands for Entity Relationship Diagram. It is a graphical or pictorial representation between various entity sets. Entity relationship diagram is data modeling technique which is used for software engineering conceptual data model for the information system. ERD diagram is also used to logical structure for the database. The major activity to identifying what are the entities, what are the attributes, different relationship among them. Use the entity relationship diagram. Entity can be represented by a table, a attribute can be represented by a column in a table, a relationship can be represented by a line symbol. What is entity relationship model is used in a conceptual design of a database. A database schema in a ER model can be represented as a pictorial that can be called as an entity relationship diagram. Now we discuss what is entity. Entity, basically entity, it is a real world object or thing like a person, car, customer, employee. In a college organization, a student is the entity. In a employee organization, employee itself is the entity. Entity can be different types, can be considered as a strong entity or can be considered as a weak entity. A strong entity set, those entity set who having a primary key. It means a strong entity set having a contain sufficient attributes to a uniquely identify all its entity. Primary key of a strong entity set can be represented by underlining it. A primary key can be represented by a hash symbol or underline symbol. What is a weak entity set? Weak entity set, if an entity set having does not contain any sufficient attributes which can be uniquely identified in itself. A primary key does not exist for a weak entity set. In a strong entity set, primary key must be exist. In a weak entity set, there is a no primary key entity. What is attribute? Attribute can be represent a characteristic of an entity or it is a behavior. An entity represented by a set of attributes. Example like when we study about the employee, then employee name, employee ID, employee age, salary of employee. These are the attributes of employee table. When we discuss about the student entity set, student ID, name of a student, student age, marks of the student, these are the attributes of any entity set. Attributes can be represented by ellipse and entity can be represented by a rectangle box. Types of attribute. There are various types of attribute. First, we discuss simple attribute, composite attribute, derived attribute, single valued attribute, and multi-valued attribute. What is a simple attribute? Simple attribute, a attribute which cannot be subdivided, like age of the employee, age of the student, gender of the employee, that cannot be subdivided. It means a single valued attribute. Simple attribute. Composite attribute. Composite attributes that can be further subdivided into a field's additional attributes like address. Address can be divided street number, city, state, zip number या pin code number. Phone number again can be divided like a country code or area code or phone number itself. Derived attributes. Derived attributes are physically stored within the database. Instead, it's derived by using an algorithm. Like derived attributes can be derived from any other attributes. Like date of birth can be date of birth also used for derived age of any student. Number of year experience can be also derived from hire date of the employee. Now we discuss single valued attribute. A attribute which having a single value or atomic value can be called as a single valued attribute. A person can have only social security number. In an employee organization, employee ID is a single valued attribute. In a student table, a student ID is a single valued attribute because ID of a student is always 1. Multi-valued attributes can have a multiple values like skill set of a student, skill set of an employee. A person may have several college degrees, a student have many email IDs. These type of attributes can be called as a multi-valued attributes. Now we discuss what is a relationship, different types of relationship. Relationship can be represented by a diamond symbol. It is association among two or more entities. When we are using connected two or more than two entities, then we use a relationship. A relationship can we show the relationship between different entities. Like in this example, entities are teacher and students are entity. The name of relationship set is a teacher underscore student. It should be defined by the user. Different types of relationships. Relationship types limit the number of possible combination of entities that may participated in a relationship set. Like different types of relationship set are available: one-to-one relationship set available, one-to-many relationship set available, many-to-many relationship available. Now we start one-to-one relationship. An employee can work in at most one department and a department can have at most one employee. It means a relation from a department to employee is 1:1 and from department to employee is also 1:1. A pair of tables bears one-to-one relationship. In this example, we said that department, head of department. This show 1:1 relationship between a department and the person who is the head of department. Now we discuss one is to many. It means one to many relationship. A one to many relationship exists between a pair of tables when a single record in the first table and can be related to one of more than one record in the second table. It means a department in a department having a more than one employee. Department names like computer science having a more than 10 employee or more than one employee, that can be relation can be called as 1:m relationship. A department has many employee, each employee is assigned to one department, that can be called as a 1:m relationship. Now we discuss many to many relationship. A many to many relationship when for more than one, for any instance A, there are many instances of entity B are available. At the time of one instances of entity B, there are many instances of entity A are available. For example, customer can buy many items or many items are bought by many customers. That type of relationship can be called as a M:M or it can be called as a many to many relationship. You can visit these books or for textbooks or references. Thanking you.